Hello and welcome to Sunday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic on the 6-year and 1-day anniversary of our first Sudoku ever on the channel. Thank you so much to those of you who wrote so many nice comments on last night's video. It really, it tickles us pink actually when we see comments from so many of you who've been with us for a long time and to whom we make a small difference. Perhaps we make you smile occasionally. It really makes me smile. And I'm hoping this puzzle on the screen is going to make me smile and you smile as well. This has had the testers exploding with delight, not literally but metaphorically. It's called The Odd Road to 200 and it's by Nordy, and Nordy's puzzles are always a treat, but this one I have read the rules and I looked it up on Logic Masters Germany, because I like to see the comments, and the comments are really cool. So let's have a quick read of some of these. Amazing puzzle, amazing construction, one of the best approachable puzzles that looks unbeatable. And who was it? Math Pesto. Miracle tier puzzle over here. So there is a miracle-esque quality to this. There is actually. When you read the rules, you think that can't possibly be enough information to generate a unique solution. Yet it obviously does. And it's proved very popular. So we're going to have a look at this in a moment or two's time. What do I have to tell you about before we do that? I've got some birthdays to do today, but I think I'm going to start off with a very kind message, and this wasn't to do with our anniversary. It was from somebody called the Peace Pilgrim, also called Scott, also called the Numinous Nomad, who is about to embark on the 6th Great Peace Walk through the eastern United States. And apparently what Scott does at times when these peace walks occur is he walks without money or rain gear or sleeping bag, and basically will fast until offered food and shelter, and will never directly ask for either, which is, it's just an astonishing thing to do. And I believe that Scott thinks that this is a route to happiness and in a calm. In fact, he was kind enough to say that our videos have helped because they sparkle with calm and radiate a sense of decency in a less compassionate world, which I thought was, well, that's high praise, and thank you for that, Scott. And we wish you all the best with your walk. Which sounds like something I could never do. No way. But I hope it goes well. Now, I've got some birthdays to do as well, so I'm going to do those. So, I think it's Pepine. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Pepine, you've turned 9 today. And I know this, and you watch the channel, apparently, with your sister, I think it's Philina, over in Qatar. I know this because your dad, Christian, wrote to us. And on a recent holiday to South Africa, you took our Super Mario Patreon puzzles with you. So well done, Pepine. And I hope you have an absolutely brilliant 9th birthday today. 9th birthdays, they do need to have chocolate cake. So I'm sure that Christian is going to do the business there. Next, Sandra over in Germany. From your husband Georg. Now, Sandra, Georg wrote so effusively about you. I'm just going to have to pick out some of the words. You are the best mother, the most astonishing woman in the world, and apparently that is objective, Georg insists, and there is going to be chocolate cake for you today. So, Sandra, I think you're in for a great day, and you sound like an astonishing person. So, many happy returns. And then finally, Zoe, over there in Atlanta, Georgia, a city I've been to once and I loved. You've turned 7 today, and I know this because your mum Simone wrote to us, and apparently Zoe has got into Sudoku recently and helps mum with the gas puzzles over on the Discord server. So well done you. And you're not having chocolate cake today, but you are having cupcakes with cookies and cream ice cream. So, well, that is a very fair substitute. So Zoe, happy birthday. Now, I'm going to read you the rules to the odd road to 200, and we are going to do battle with it together. Let's see what Nordy has in store. The rules are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply. The digits along each blue-purple line, so we've got 2 of those, multiply to 200. So that's interesting already. And then we have the task of drawing a one cell wide, non-branching, orthogonally connected road that does not touch itself orthogonally but may diagonally. The two ends of the road are given as circles. So let's just check we understand what that means. I talk about this in quite a few videos, but what does the word orthogonally mean? I wouldn't blame you if you didn't know. The only reason I know is because I do a lot of puzzles and crosswords. Orthogonally means shares an edge. That's the simple way of describing it. So these two cells are orthogonally connected. These two cells are not orthogonally connected because they only touch each other at a point. So we have to make sure that as we draw the road going from the 9 to the 7, because these are the ends, that we do it in some sort of orthogonal way. So we must do it like that. And what we're not allowed to do is to branch. So we can't do, we can't do things like this. And we must make sure that the now hang on, let's think about this whole thing about we can have diagonal connections. So we could do that. I think that would be a legitimate way of drawing the road, because these do touch one another, but they only touch diagonally. If we tried to move this another cell up, that wouldn't work, because then these two cells would touch orthogonally, and that's not going to be allowable. So we've got to draw the road. Now this is where it gets really mad. The road contains only odd digits, and the digits along the road sum to 200. Except for the circles, the road cannot visit any cell that contains a given clue, i.e. the road cannot visit the given digits in row 2 column 9 and row 9 column 1. So these are not part of the road. Well, that one couldn't be anyway. That's a 6. I think the roads have only got odd digits on it. Nor any cell that contains a line segment. Oh, okay. So whatever I drew earlier is probably wrong then, definitely, because what we're being told there is that none of those cells can be on the road that we're drawing from here to here, because obviously that cell, for example, contains a line segment. And that is the end of the slightly bonkers rules. Do have a go at this one. 3 stars out of 5 for difficulty. People calling it approachable. People calling it miracle-esque. It sounds fun. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, okay, let me think. As I was reading the instructions, I did think of one thing, which is that an awful lot of the odd digits in the whole puzzle must be on this road. Because if we think about the nature of Sudoku, the odd digits in Sudoku are 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9, and they add up to 25. I don't know how I just know that, but I do. I think it's doing too many puzzles. So, in this puzzle, because there are 9 boxes, each of which contain the digits 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9, the sum of all of the odd digits in the Sudoku is 9 times 25, which is 225. So, only 25's worth of odd digits are not on the road. And in fact, that cell is not on the road, is it? Because it says that's a given digit. And we're going to have some colouring here, aren't we? We're going to have to decide, what are we going to make the colours? Actually, it's an odd road, so I'm meant to use orange for odd, I think. That's the official, because they both begin with O. So we'll make these odd, and we'll make non-road cells. I want to say blue because I know that this is the most colourblind friendly sort of juxtaposition within our palette, which is the orange and the blue. So blue is going to be non-road, which unfortunately could include odd digits, because that one is expressly by the rules not allowed to be road. That's not allowed to be road, and the line segments are not allowed to be road. So let's just pencil that in. Okay, and I can see some more things that are not road now, because these are the starts and ends of the road. So we can never go in there, because the road couldn't get out again. So there is some little cells that we can immediately bluify. I want to say that the road probably has to go across here then. Because if the road never went into box 3, There's only... Once we take this off the path, then we're down to 222's worth of odd cells in the rest of the puzzle. So we can only have 22's worth of odd digits that are not... okay. No, so we don't have to go in there, actually, do we? We don't have to go in there, provided that every other odd cell in the puzzle is on the road, which actually is interesting as a thought. What was the rule about the line thing? That had to multiply to 200. Okay, so what we've got to do is find the prime factors of 200. So we can divide it by 2, that gets to 100, 2 again is 50, 2 again is 25, so that's down to, and then 2 5s. So the prime factors of 200 are 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 times 5. Right, and that's interesting, because that means that both of these lines have to have two 5s on them, because the only way we couldn't have 2 5s on them is if we multiply the 5 by another prime factor like 2, and 10 is not a valid Sudoku digit, neither is 25. So there are definitely 2 5s on each. Oh, and these... Right, and there are... So that's 20, so that... Right, so now we do have to go into box 3, because now there are 20's worth of odd numbers on the lines. So that's 23's worth of odd numbers that are... Sorry, there might be a bit of children's noise at the moment. It's kids' holidays. That's 23's worth of numbers, odd numbers, that are not actually on the line. Or, yeah, 23's worth of odd numbers that can't be on the road, sorry. And right, oh, that's a 5, of course. Right, because this line has to contain 2 5s, you can only put 1 5 in box 7, so that's got to be a 5. And now the second 5 has got to be there. And then, what else are we going to put on this line then? We've got to put 3 more digits in that multiply together to give 8. Well, that must be 1 2 4, mustn't it? There's no other way of doing that. Hang on. I've got to have 3 different... No, there's no other way of doing that. We can't do double 1 8, because that would repeat the 1 in the box. So it's got to be 1 2 4. Right, so this box contains 1 2. It contains a 1 2 4 5 quadruple. So 7 in the box is in one of these 2 squares. 7 is down here. We've got 23's worth of odd digits. No. We've got 24's worth of odd digits now. Not that are accounted for, that can't be rowed, because the 1 in box 7 is on the line. So, can I force a 1 onto this one, is the next question. Because if we can do that, we know every single other odd digit in the puzzle would have to be on the road. So, for example, that box is... all its odd numbers would have to be road cells. So let's think about this. So those 6 cells... Oh, let's see, there's 6 cells now. Well, surely one of them has to be a 1, because if they weren't, you could have 2 5s, but you'd have 4 4s then, and we know we're... Sorry, not 4 4s, 4 2s, and they would multiply together to give 16, and 16 times 2 5s is too many by a lot, by double, in fact. So there's definitely a 1 on this line. There must be. Yeah. Okay. Hang on, let me think about this. So... Right, so we've reached... So there are 3 2s on... Oh, this is so beautiful, Nordy. This is just beautiful. So we've reached an equilibrium, is what I'm now concluding. Because because I was thinking, my first thought was to then I was worrying in my brain about how many ones there could be on this line, because it seemed, I mean, you could put 3 ones there, for example. But then I realised that's not going to work, because remember that we'd already accounted for 24 of the maximum of 25 odds worth of digits that we couldn't put on the road, because we've got 4 5s, which is 20, a 3 and a 1. So I can't put more than one on this line, or I simply don't have the odd numbers spare to make a road that sums to 200. So there is 1 1 on here, there are 2 5s on here, and then there are 3 more digits to come that are not 1, which must therefore be 2, because we know that the prime factors that we need are 2, 2 and 2, basically. So now that's a 2, because I've got 3 units of Sudoku here. And when I say what's a unit of Sudoku, I mean, you know, we can divide this line shape into columns, can't we? There's 1 column there, 2 columns, 3 columns. So I can't repeat a digit in any of those units, and I need 3 2s on the line, so that's going to have to be a 2. Therefore that's not a 2, and one of these is a 2. Therefore, and one of these is a 2. And now I've only got 2 units left, because I've taken away column 5's ability to be on the line, and I need to put 2 5s into these 2 units of Sudoku. So there must be a 5 here, and that's become a 2 5 pair. So this is 2 5, and this is 1 2 5, because we know there's a 1 on the line. That's not a 2. There's this 5. Right, this 5's doing this, so that's 2. That's 5. This is 1. This is 5, this is 2, and the line's finished. Oh, this is miraculous. I absolutely love this so far. And now, right, so now, every single other cell in the whole puzzle, every single other odd digit in the whole puzzle is on the road that leads from the 9 to the 7. Okay, so let me come back to my first thought. Oh, that cell can't be on the road. Can't put a digit on the road there, because that's going to be effectively be another road end, isn't it? That's not going to work. But how do we get into this box to pick up the digits 1, 5, 7 and 9 that have to be on the road in this box? You must come, if you don't come across here. So let's make that blue for a moment and just think about how we could get in and out of this box to pick up 4 cells. You can't, because, well, you're going to orthogonally connect the road to itself to do that. Or especially with this little kinky thing here. So that is all road. Okay. I'm wondering about box 7 as well, because box 7, we've got 1 and 5 on the line, so we need 3, 7 and 9 are on the road, and they are 3 of these 4 cells. Right, so this is either doing this or this, isn't it? Isn't it doing one of those 2 things? It must be. Because there's no end in here. We've got to travel through this box. So those are definitely on, these are definitely on the path. And I want to say those 2 are on the path. How would that not be the case? Maverick's just come flying past as well. Yeah, that must be true. Those 2 have got to be on the path. Oh, hang on. Right. Right, okay, here's something interesting. This line end here is not a line end. So this path is going to have to come down somehow through box 3, through box 6, enter box 9, and then it's going to have to close with the 7. Because once the snake, or once the road comes into this box, it can't get out without touching orthogonally the 7. So this 7, so that cell has to not be on the path. It can't be on the path, because if that's on the path, this is stranded now, because we'll come down here and we can't make this an end. So that is not in, and because this is connecting to this, this is not connecting to this, so that must turn up, and therefore that is not on the path, because otherwise it would touch the road would touch itself, which somehow feels a little less naughty to say than the snake would touch itself, and therefore what? I don't know. 2. Where's 2 in column 4? 2 is not odd, so that's definitely there. That means these are not 2. That means we can blue this, can't we? Does that have to be on the path? Oh, hang on, why have I made that grey? Sorry, I don't know why I've done that. I'm so mad. I've introduced a trichromatic colour scheme into a bichromatic puzzle. I don't know. What's this, though, is the thought I was having. Because that cell, I think that has to be orange. I might be wrong, but we know all of the odd numbers in this box are on the road. So there are 5 road cells to find in box 8. But as we come across here, we can only, to close this road off, we could do that, or we could do that, or we could do that. But we can only pick up 2 odd digits maximum by doing that. So this section must be 3 odd digits, which means it's going to have to take that one. And then it can't take this one, so that's blue. No, I was about to make it grey again. So actually now that has to come down, doesn't it? Because if it goes straight out, we can't take a 5th odd digit. Or have I miscounted this? I don't think I have. I think all the odd digits in that box have to be on. So I think it's got to do that, which makes that blue. It makes that blue. It makes this orange. It makes this blue. It makes that orange. It makes that blue. It makes this orange. Now we've got to think about how these 2 can't connect to each other. So yes, in fact, look, we know that end connects to the 9, because if this end connected to the 9, this would be stranded. So that connects to the 9, this is going to connect to the top, and then that's going to connect down there, and that's broadly what we're trying to do. But how on earth is this going to solve uniquely from here? That is the question. I don't know the answer to that. Okay, one thing I can see in this box is that the 1 has been hypothecated to the line. So that means there are 4 odd digits in this box that belong to the road. And therefore, by a sort of bishop's move constraint, we can't take those 4, can we? Because that's going to branch the road. So we've got to take that square. So it's either wiggling like this or it's wiggling like that. But then it could go either way, actually. Well, you've got to stop. If it went that way, no, you can still sneak round the outside of it. So okay. Oh, these squares, we know what they are. They are 3, 7 and 9. Let's put that in. So that digit is even, and it's not 6 or... So that's 8, isn't it? That's 8, because we need 2 and 4 on the line. So there's an 8 in one of these 2 squares. Ah, I thought that was going to do it. Oh, what about those? Yes, they are 4, 6 and 8 as well, aren't they? Because looking at this column, we know 1 and 5 are on the line. So 3, 7 and 9. This is a 3, 9 pair. Still, it still doesn't seem like enough information. What about... I don't know. Oh, 7. 7's got to be there by Sudoku. It is a common fault of mine to ignore black digits in the grid because I get them so rarely. Okay, what about that? That's odd, and it's 1 or 5, isn't it? Because it can't be 3, 7 or 9. Two is in one of those squares. 2 is in one of these squares. There's not enough here. There's just not enough here. What on earth am I meant to do with this? Five, no. So let's think about this box again. We know that 3 is, so we need to put 1, 5, 7 and 9 on the road. So I want to say that that has got to be orange. How would that not be the case? Isn't it the same as this? We've sort of got to be on a different bishop's colour. I think it is. I mean, however I draw this, this one seems to have to be on, and therefore this one is not on, I think, because we can never get there. So that must be in as well, because we've got to come out of box 3 across this junction. So that's not on, or that's not in anymore. Sorry, that's a very lengthy interruption there. I had to go and play Uno. It was a very insistent request and a very loud request that I will have to edit out of the video. And now I've just resumed, and I haven't got the... What was I doing? Let's go back. Okay, I've put an orange cell here and a blue cell here. I find this very difficult sometimes when I've just stepped away to do something completely different. To remember what I was thinking. We were trying to... Yeah, okay, it couldn't go into there because that would have caused a cul-de-sac. Right, well that makes sense. So this box needs 4 more odd digits, doesn't it? Because it's got 1 in blue. So there've got to be 4 more. So by bishop's move, we're going to have to take this square. However we meander through box 6, we're going to end up there and we're going to exit here. So we've nearly got a full quota of odd digits in row 7 now, because we definitely have identified 4 for sure, and this digit, if that was odd, then that would be forced to be even, and that would tell us that this was... Oh, that would complete... is this important? Yes, this is important. Yeah, okay. How does this connect to this? And the answer is, I don't have a clue. It's going to take one of those, though, and that's going to be the 5th odd digit in this row. So that cannot be odd. That's got to be even. Oh, don't tell me. Is that all we get for that? That's all we get for that. That's so mean. Oh, you rotten thing. Oh, all right. I'm going to change tack then. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to use the same sort of logic on row 6, where I have 1 and 5 in blue, so I can't have more than 3 odd digits in the rest of it, and we've identified those 3. So those 2 have definitely got to be blue because they are forced to be even. Now what's that doing? That's pushing this up. So this one... 3. I suppose that's a question. Oh, this is a question. Where does 3 go in box 6? It's got to go in one of these 2 squares. Sorry, one of those 2 squares. Let's actually make the colour... Let's use the right colours for the right thing. It was because that 3 was blue, I was momentarily perplexed. But that 3's got to go in one of those 2 squares, and therefore it's got to go there, because it's got to be a roaded 3, and eroded 3 in box 9. Right, that's now 9. That's now 3. So these squares are 1, 3, and 5, I want to say. Bother. Bother, it still doesn't do it. Okay, let's try up there. So there's a 3 in one of these. This orange has now got to come... Oh, that's big. This orange has got to come up into a potential 2 cell, but we know. A knowledge bomb for you from Cracking the Cryptic. 2 is not an odd digit. So that 2 can't be there. The 2 must be here, which means that is blue. Oh, that's really done very little, unfortunately. We know that there are 2 more. Oh. I want to say that's orange now. That might be wrong, but I want to say that's orange. Because I'm just thinking about how we get out of this box. What we can't do is connect these 2 cells together, because that's going to make a ring road, literally a ring road. And we're not trying to make a ring road. We need, yeah. Well, in fact, yes, this cell needs to connect here, doesn't it? Because if that cell connected there, this would be stranded. So this somehow connects to this, and this connects to this, and then that meanders down the rest of the world. So, yeah. Okay. Oh, no, well, am I wrong? I don't think I am wrong. How could this... I've only got 2 more oranges to place in this box, and this has got to get out. So how do I do that without taking this square? If that square is blue, the only way of getting out without a branch is to do that and create a ring road. So that's definitely orange, and therefore that's definitely orange, because that's the way we're going to have to come up. Oh, it's nearly huge, that. So these squares are from 1, 3, and 7. But we don't, I think, know which they are. One of these is orange, and therefore that square is definitely blue, which means this square definitely goes up here. It's just fascinating, isn't it? Oh, 5 in the middle box is in... it doesn't matter. It's in, well, it would matter if it was here, but it's in one of 2 places. These squares... Oh, that square's quite restricted. Oh, that's... No, this is lovely. Right, I've seen a much cleaner way of doing this. Right. Oh, no, it does work. It does work. Okay, the question I want to ask is that orange? And the answer is no. Because if that's orange, those 5 cells cannot include a 5, and yet they're all odd. And that's not going to work. We're going to have to repeat a digit. So that's got to be blue, which tells us the way that this one develops. Oh, this is gorgeous. Oh, Nordy, that is gorgeous. I love that. Because now what's happened in the world? Well, now I've got 4 odd digits in column 1 and a 5. That's 5 odd digits. So that's all of them. So that can't be a 1, which means this is a 2-4 pair. And if this is a 2-4 pair, that means these squares down here are 1 and 5, which means we can't have more than 3 more digits in row 9, which means that's the last one, which means that in the corner is blue. That's blue in the corner. It doesn't really rhyme, but never mind. That's got to go up. Okay, has this done it now? Has this helped us? I think it must have helped us a bit. That square, oh no, that square's 1 or 5 by Sudoku. Okay, but that's all the odds in row 8. So we can blue that one, we can orange this one. So now these squares are from 1, 5, and 9. Oh dear. 1, 5, and 9. I don't think we know. 2 has to be in one of those squares in box 9. So in box 3, 2 is in one of those squares. Now that's a little... That tells us this is this can't be orange now, because if orange did come there, it would have to go there, and one of the squares on it would be a 2, so that doesn't work. So that's blue. We go down here. We need, oh, look at column 7. This is so clever, the way this is unwinding. Look at column 7. Well, we've got a 5 in blue, but these squares, the other blue squares, aren't allowed to be odd digits, because the only odd digits in blue are on the lines, or that one. So these squares have got to be a 4, 6, 8 triple, and therefore that square's got to be the final or odd cell, which means that's blue, which means these squares are 1, 5, 7, 9. And 5 is very placeable using this 5, so we've got a 1, 7, 9 triple. The 5, oh look, this is doing things. That's 1, that's 9, that's 5 by Sudoku. So this is the final odd digit in column 8, and it's a 3. So that tells us that the line does a little kink round this corner. 3 and 5 have gone, so this is 1, 7, and 9. That's not 1. Okay, well, that was good. Oh, I still thought 5 was going to get exciting in box. Well, it is, actually. No, it is going to get exciting, because this is the end of the line, isn't it? So those two squares have got to now be blue. And that tells us this can't be a 5, or it would be another road end. It would be a cul-de-sac, indeed. So that's got to be... that's not only orange, it's a cornered orange. So those two have to be orange. Now that's got to be blue to avoid the road touching itself jolly naughtily. So that's... We've nearly finished the line. We have finished the line, because I've got 5 oranges in column 4. So that square's got to be blue, which means that square's got to be orange. And that is a complete tiling of the grid. So we've now got 2 different Sudokus to do. One with the odd numbers, one with the even numbers. How do we do this? Please tell me. Well, that's the 5, isn't it? That's the upshot of what we just learned. So we can put 5 in there, which gives us 5 and 1 at the bottom. So these... Oh, look, where does 9 go in column 3? It's got to go here now. So these squares have got to be 3 and 7, which we know the order of, 3 and 7. That square's got to be a 1 by Sudoku. Now, so this is a 3-7 pair, which is resolved by the 3-7. These two squares have got to be a 1-9 pair. That's resolved by the 1. Okay, that's a 7 by Sudoku out of nowhere. This is a 1, this is a 9. So this seems to be a 5-9 pair, doesn't it? It's probably resolved by something. I can't see what, though. Let's actually tidy up the pencil marks. These squares are 3 and 7. And that's very resolved. 3 and 7 go in. So this square... this should be a pair. We can, yeah, this is 1, this is 3, this is 5. That's all finished. So that's 5, that's 9. That's 1, that's 7, and that's 9 in this box, I think. Which means that should be a 7. And we get the 1 and the 9. So we've now done the odd Sudoku. So in theory, we should just have an even Sudoku left to do. And do we have a feel for... Is there a weak even number? 2. Okay, I can get 2 down here. Maybe it's 2. Let's double click the 2. Yeah, okay, the 2 here gives me a 4 here. Is that doing magic or not really? Well, this column needs an 8. Let's put 8 in. So that means that's 8. This is a 4-6 pair by Sudoku. That's not 8 anymore. Presumably 8 does something more, does it? I don't know. 2, 4, 6. Or can we do better with 2s? Oh, I don't know. How strange. Oh, this 6 might be doing something. Yeah. Okay, let's use that 6, because that's taking 6 out of here, which means there's a 6 in one of those two, which means that square's become a 4. So 4, 6, 4. So these two squares are a 6-8 pair, which might not be resolved, but it tells us these two squares are a 2-4 pair. So these two squares are a 6-8 pair, which we can now do. That's good. Now that's become 4 in the corner, a blue 4 in the corner, so that's an 8. Because it's a 6-8 pair, which I think hopefully we're not going to run into any deadly patterns here. Yeah, no, this is fine. That's 6, that's 4 by Sudoku. That's 6, that's 8. Come on, come on. Now that's a 4. We need 6 and 8 in this column. Bother. That's not done. Okay, but that means that, oh, I see. So that's a 4, that's a 4, that's a 2. Which means that's a 2. Oh, right, okay. Oh, the 4 here is going to do it. Is it 4, 6, 6, 8, 8, 6, 6, 8? What a puzzle. That is absolutely brilliant. That is brilliant. I'm not sure that time can possibly be correct, but it might be. I don't know. Sven's software is very, very clever. So it might have understood that I stepped away from the puzzle. But 75 people in 14 days. So that's averaging 5 a day roughly, isn't it? Which is far too few for a puzzle that brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant, Nordy. Unusual and yet spectacularly clever. Really, really original and, well, joy-inducing, in me at least. Loved it. The odd road to 200. Nordy, take a bow, and we'll be back later. Oh, sorry. Drop a comment in. Let us know what you thought of the puzzle. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.